Built this empire from the ground, never backing down, never bound. Two hearts, one vision, we stay true. In the thick of it, in the Phipps of it.
Welcome to In the Phipps of It. I'm Natasha Phipps.
And I'm Rodney Phipps.
Welcome to our podcast.
We're here to talk about life, love, our pursuit of authentic happiness.
We are married, we work together, we're parents to two amazing kids, and we hope you enjoy the show. Back for another episode.
Yes, we're happy to be here.
Yeah. It'd be fun for us to talk about marriage in the sense of, you know, how can we keep it fun, keeping it light, and having more fun together now than we ever have. And I feel like that is rare, something I'm pretty proud of.
Yeah.
I think we both are. But a lot of work, of course, came with that. But
Yes.
I think we do get asked that quite a bit. Like, what's the secret? How do you, keep your relationship going and exciting and fun and all those things? So I thought it'd be fun to talk about them.
Yeah, and we're coming up on 17 years of marriage. I feel like we're having more fun together now. We're happier now. Spend more time together probably now than
Yes,
we ever have.
for sure.
Obviously, working together, not maybe the most common situation. We've found a way to make it work for us and having a lot of fun doing it. And I think it's fun to explore some of these like cliches, sayings, stereotypes, some of these different things. And some maybe fit, some maybe not so much.
Yeah. Well, and some of these things I don't think I've given some thought to too much that like kind of come naturally to us. But then there's certain things that maybe didn't come so naturally that we've worked on.
Yeah.
So I think we did have some factors there that were good just naturally, but then some things we definitely have had to work on as well.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. And it's worked for us, and everybody's got their own situation and their own relationship and
Yeah.
their own balance of things. So we're just sharing what works for us and may
That's
not work
right.
for everybody.
Exactly.
But what works for us and are continuing to learn what works for us, I'd say.
Well, and I feel like, there's so much talk in the world of like the kind of jokes against marriage or
Yeah.
like the downsides of marriage or wives ragging on their husbands or husbands constantly being out with the boys or whatever it is. There's these cliches that are very common out there,
Yeah.
and I thought it'd be fun to talk about them.
Yes, absolutely. The girls' night, the boys' night, all those sort
Yeah.
of things, which is great. They're all in their time and place are fine. The idea behind it or the pain and
Well,
suffering
Yeah.
that sometimes
I
comes
think
with
the
them.
problem with it is when you hear people tell those stories, it just sounds like that's like the only thing they look forward to.
Yeah.
Like the
Yes.
men only look forward to golfing with the guys, or the women are only looking forward to their like girlship, which is fine. Like those things are super fun and you should look forward to
Yeah.
them. But it can come across like that's the thing they're
Yes.
looking forward to in their year.
Yeah, or like the point system,
Yeah.
I did this, therefore I get
Right.
that. Or if
Yeah.
you do these 4 things, then you're allowed to go out. You're allowed to do this or you're allowed to do that just because you've put in your time or you've got your points for the week.
Yeah.
Crazy way to look at a relationship, but anyways.
It's super common,
Very
and
common.
and can sort of feel like that's what to expect if you get married. I think just because it is so common.
Yeah.
So if you're going into new marriage or getting into a new relationship, how much you hear this is it sort of feels like that's the only way. Like that's like what you should expect.
Yes. Yeah, or the marriage and the happily ever after part of the story.
Yeah.
It's like you've made it to the marriage, you get married and then they lived happily ever after, when really marriage is getting married, the act of marriage is
Yeah.
really like the first step. And it's not for everyone. It's
Yeah.
not. There's a social pressure around it, and I understand that. Before we got married, neither of us really thought we were people that were going to get married. All of a
That-
sudden,
because I didn't think I would be able to find someone who would want to live a life sort of like that, right?
Yes.
That wasn't just like monotony and, kind of these separate individual lives that are sort of
Yes.
coming together and you're sort of stuck with each other now. That was a nightmare to me to
yeah,
think
and,
about.
oh yeah, that was to me that way. There was no way, and I just never thought I'd find somebody that I could spend that much time with.
Yeah.
Before we got married, I'm fairly independent. Heads in a circle, but I was kind of on my own and moving
Mm-hmm.
a lot, and I was pretty happy with that. And then all of a sudden, I wasn't.
Let's like talk about the guys' night thing.
Yeah.
And there's two kind of things I want to address here.
Yeah.
So when we first started dating, Rodney's friends would think I would not let him out of the house.
Yeah.
And that could not be, Rodney doesn't need to ask me for
No.
permission to do anything. I don't ask Rodney for permission. We just notify each other of what
Yeah.
we are doing. And if kids and things need to be sorted out, of course, that's, you kind of make that happen, right? But number one, if you're starting out in the marriage or relationship and you have to ask permission
Yes.
at the beginning, I think this is only going to become a worse problem.
Yes, and I am very comfortable saying on the record, not once, not even when we were dating, did I ever, either of us have to ask for permission to
No.
go do something. Never once did you say, no, you can't do that, or no, that's not your time. You know, you would, like golf is one of the
Yeah.
examples. Like early on, you golf now, but early on in a relationship, you
I didn't
didn't.
golf, no.
And you would encourage me, go golf. And I'd
Go,
be like, no,
yeah.
I want to hang out, or I want to do this, or whatever.
Yeah.
And it would be you that would be more on like the boys' side of like, go, like just do something. Like, I'm like, no, I'm good. My golf game would probably be better if I had to listen, but
Yeah.
you know, and that's something I'm 100% comfortable standing behind. And that was a standard that I think, I don't even know if we really talked about it. It was just something that we expected from each other. You're not looking for me to give you permission, like how to dress or how to act or anything like that.
We're not
And
each other's
vice versa.
parents.
No. And if you want a relationship that's a parent, that's cool, but
Yeah.
that's not what either of us were looking for.
No. And yeah, so that's one, the kind of assumption that
Yeah.
you need to ask. That's also assumption that it's a sign of like you're trapped if you're not going.
Yeah.
Like you're
Yeah.
trapped at home or something.
Yeah.
And yeah, so if that's happening, like, I don't know, I early on in the relationship, I think you got to spend some time on that.
Yeah, I think it's at least worth talking about. Like,
Yeah.
communication is the number one trick or key or whatever you want to call it for us.
Yeah.
For sure. So we're not saying like, oh, you just run off and do whatever the heck you want.
No.
Without communicating. You start like communicating. You're letting the other person know, and you're checking schedules and seeing what's going on. And if there's a
Yes.
conflict, okay, then you have a conversation
Of course.
about it. But it's not, it's a communication thing. It's not a, a handcuff that you need unlocked because you've achieved your score for the week or something like that. So I
Yeah.
think it's worth talking about early, and the earlier the better. Because, like you say, if you start that's the beginning.
Yeah.
What are you going to do later on, or once once you bring kids into the picture, and once you have all these other variables? Like at the beginning, when it's the honeymoon phase, they call it.
Yeah.
Everything's easy, everything's fun. So if that standard's there,
Then
how the hell do you deal with kids or
Yeah.
work or careers or family or in-laws? Like there's so many variables that start folding in.
Yeah.
That if that communication about the basics there are not.
Well, and the communication around, like, if that triggers your partner in some way, having why?
Yeah.
That's a sign of something to work on.
Yes.
Like, that doesn't mean you're going to feel how you're going to feel, but like, why are you feeling that
Yeah.
way? If you're feeling abandoned because your partner's going
Yeah.
golfing on Saturday, like, that is, you got to work through that.
Exactly.
And that's okay.
Yes.
It comes from, and we
Yeah.
all have trauma and shit to deal with, but we got to own it first.
Yes.
And recognize that's how we're feeling, and then work through it from there.
Yeah, and that's a whole other conversation about feelings
Yes.
and justifiable feelings and real feelings and what are, what feelings can influence your behavior in a good way and in a bad way.
Yeah.
That's a whole other subject we won't go down. But I think that's the most important part is establishing, okay, is this bothering you? Why is it bothering you? Have a conversation about it. And then you can come up with, if you can justify where your feeling's coming from,
Yeah.
and you can justify this is why it's having this effect, and this is what you're doing to make me feel that way, and then determining, okay, maybe I'm not 100%, maybe my feeling is influencing my behavior more than I would like.
Right.
And maybe you're influencing, you figure it out. And
Yeah.
then the back and
adjust.
forth,
Yeah.
you adjust to the place that fits for you both, right?
Yeah.
So so many of the things we talk about just go back to communication. Right?
Well, and your partner should want you to be doing things that you enjoy.
Yeah.
Like when I love horses, for
Yes.
example, and I would go for hours out to the barn, and
Yeah.
Rodney's very allergic to horses, so he couldn't come with me.
Yeah.
And never once were you like, oh, you shouldn't be doing that, or
Yeah.
like that, because it's something I enjoy and I love, and that is only gonna better how I am
Yes.
back at home, right?
Yeah, of course, yeah.
It's
Had to
yeah.
take allergy medicine when you got home.
Yeah,
so.
exactly. Okay, what are some other kind of like, cliche ones? Flowers?
Yeah, I used to get in a lot of shit from people because I would buy you flowers or things, gestures, not on holidays.
Yes, Rodney's very much a gift giver.
Yeah, and I would say that's part of
thinking
my
of things people like.
Yeah, that an intention behind it. It's the intention that has always meant something
Yeah.
to me rather than the thing itself.
Yes, yeah.
It's that you're thinking of somebody and that they're in your mind and what have you.
Yeah.
But I used to get in a lot of shit from people in our circle about like, oh, you're making me look bad because you're doing this for your partner. And it's not on Valentine's Day. So then what the hell? Like, then my thing, and that's not what it's not a competition, first of all. It's just about intention, and it's just about being thoughtful and having that. It's a gesture that, hey, I'm thinking about you and you matter.
Yeah.
And that's it. And I think some men struggle with that because maybe they don't always understand what the intention is.
Yeah.
It becomes transactional. It's like, this is the thing I need to do to get this reward later on.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of men are taught that early on in life. And that is male experience. And I don't know how happy that's making anybody.
Yeah.
Especially men. Like, I think if men were able to go like, hey, I think most men want to make their partner that they care about happy.
Yeah.
And they want to make that person feel like they're being thought of. They just don't always understand what the purpose of it is. Especially if you're living life in a scorekeeping back and forth kind of tit for tat kind of thing. And it's a cliche, men suck at these things or whatever, and I think it's staggered in how they were brought up and understanding what the purpose of it is and the score. Because you put all those things together and you create a situation that's kind of diminishing returns, let's say.
Yeah, I think the checklist point system, it is a huge problem.
Yes.
In all of this stuff, whether it's out with the boys, out with the girls, doing this. It's like, or I'm going to look after the kids so you can do this. It's like, well, they're both your kids, so it's your kids to jointly look after.
Yeah, I think that
you can't babysit your own kids.
Yeah, I think that was a joke early on, when Ada was first born. He was like 2 months old. And then I just said that reflexively, like not even thinking about it. And then you're like, you can't babysit your own kid. And I was like, oh yeah, you're absolutely right. But it's just like
it was
in your
head,
head, you're babysitting. You're looking after a kid is babysitting.
No, you're a dad.
No, that's just called dadding. And that's the 50-50 rule, I guess, would be the next step from that. And that's part of, like, everything is balanced, everything is fair, everything's 50-50. And that's just not the way life works.
No.
I think we've kind of hinted on this in the past, but this is exactly what you're talking, the scorekeeping system. If you're going 50, everything has to be exactly 50-50. Yes, you want to be equally contributing to everything as much as you can, but some days are different than others. Some work demands are different. And if you start getting into that tit for tat scorekeeping thing, that's where and in your head, okay, everything's got to be exactly equal. Yeah. And you're keeping score, and that's, and then you're not communicating about those things. Right? Yeah. That's also the tie that goes around. Then a couple weeks pass, and then
a lot harder too when kids are small and time is short and you're tired and you're exhausted and all these things and you're just like looking for an escape. Yeah. And you're like, well, you had this, so I want that. So and it definitely does get easier as the kids get older to just know that there's going to be more time. It's not such a short on time mentality, but so you do need to know that all that will get easier over time if you have young kids, but then it still comes down to, do you want to spend time together?
Yeah, well, that's a big part. And we'll touch on the parenting thing a little bit more, I think, in the future. I think I see people that almost resent their kids when they're little, and that we won't get into that now, but you have to be prepared that's part of the cost. It's part of the 50-50. The time it takes for each other, for the kids. Yeah. It's not going to last forever. Enjoy it. Be present as much as you can because it goes by so quick. But it's part of the dedication that you made to having kids is that's going to take some of your time.
Sure,
you're not going to get
yeah.
as much of a social life. You're not going to have those other things. Doesn't mean you don't need them, and those are great, and then you've got to catch those moments when you can. Yeah. But that's part of the...
It also doesn't need to be I know it's hard in a little. We've got 2 kids, but you can't forget that you're also someone's spouse as well. It's really easy to only become mom or only be dad or only be and forget that you are also married and you have a commitment and a obligation to also work on your marriage. Yes. So, but it's really easy to get sucked into that mom mode, dad mode or whatever, right?
Yeah. So that made me think of 2 things. The first being is the priority is the kids.
Right.
And I understand where that comes from. The kids have to be a priority in a relationship. they cannot be more of a priority than your partner. And your kids notice it, they see it, they want to see a healthy relationship.
And you are their example.
Yes. And your kids are going to one day,
Yeah.
hopefully, if you're doing it right. And you know, I mean, in our case, it might be us
Go
that
out
leaves
to
and
the
our son
world,
keeps
yeah.
our house. But they will go out and have their own relationship and build their
Yeah.
own and be with somebody for the rest of their life, or portions of their life, or multiple people for the rest, whatever they end up doing. But if you're in a marriage that is going to go the distance,
Yeah.
you have to
A
remain
lifetime.
a priority.
You have to,
You have
yeah.
to remain a priority for each other. So you can say kids are right up there, but I would almost argue that that's maybe a slight edge, you know, a slight edge to your partner, because they are the person you're working with, you're balancing things with, that,
Well, it'll make you a better parent.
yes,
Like, if you're happier in your marriage, you're going to be better as a parent. You're going to
Yes.
be communicating better as parents. You're going to be delivering a better home for them.
Yes.
And also, you are setting the example of what they are going to tolerate later on in life.
Exactly.
Like, Brindley recently said to me, we were just, I don't know, talking about our relationship. And, you know, she's growing up and all different, there's lots of challenging friendships and relationships and things. And she said she fully believes that, number one, it'll be hard to find a partner
Yep.
that will
And it will be.
respect her the way you respect me and love me the way you love me. And she mentioned that, and it is hard. It's not super easy, but it also is, if you're intentional and clear about what you want, it's also a lot easier to find. So she
Yes.
also has a standard of what she's looking for, which is amazing.
Yes.
That's something I think we're really proud of. And they both have noticed, but she's really noticed that.
Yeah, and that makes me really happy, but it's also a reminder that your kids, your family, your people around you, they're going to learn more from your behavior than the
Yeah.
things you say. Don't, you know, that old saying, do as I say, not as I do. Kids are smart. They're young humans. They're not blind and oblivious and, you know, I'll
Clueless,
keep the language
yeah.
tidy.
Yeah.
But they get treated like that often. And I think that's the first thing they pick up on, is how you're treating each other, how you're communicating to each other, the respect that you show each other. Even when you disagree, you're going to fight. There's going to be disagreements. There's going to be moments when emotion gets bad. That's fine, but
Yeah.
it's how you handle the respect factor and how you prioritize each other and
Yeah.
the way you treat each other.
So, okay, so we're talking about kind of like how you can just become singular, like you're just mom,
Yeah.
or you're just dad, or you're just your job or whatever, right? And it's a slippery slope. It doesn't happen overnight, but you can kind of see how people get there. And then now you're living two separate lives in the home, and that's when those golf days become really important,
Yes.
and that's when those girls trips become really important, because that's really the only fun you're having.
Yeah.
So I think it doesn't need to be big things, but trying to have some fun together in
Yes.
those periods of time. But I mean, you know, it doesn't need to be expensive or lavish or whatever. It's just some intentional time. So what
Yes.
did you guys like to do before you had kids?
Yeah,
right?
exactly. That's that.
Get back
Exactly.
to that when you can, even if it's for short spurts.
Yeah.
And try to be husband and wife or partners rather than just mom and dad sitting there, you know?
Yeah, and it goes back to the gift giving thing, or the whatever it is, the special holidays, the special events, the intention. It's
Yeah.
the intention. Okay, where, like you said, what do we have fun doing? We love to eat. We love music. Love to just spend time together, play games,
Yeah.
play cards. There's lots of different we enjoy doing. And sure, we have our own unique interests and things. But when we have a chance to get out for, even if it's an hour or two, that's great. It doesn't have to be a big lavish thing. It's
Exactly,
just get
yeah.
out for an hour, have a conversation, look at each other in the eyes, talk at the table. I mean, how many times have we seen people in a relationship just sitting there in dead silence for like 2 hours? And it's like, that's fine. Maybe they're like happier and shit, and that's just the way
Yeah.
they live, and that's awesome. Go hard. Doesn't feel that way though. Like, okay.
Okay, this also might be a bit of a controversial one and maybe a challenging one too. I don't know, but you can also see, if you get comfortable in these roles, like you kind of can let yourself go in terms of just like how you take care of yourself and how you present yourself to your partner.
Yeah.
And I know there's this maybe, you know, take out there that you should just love me for me, but I have always been very militant about like taking care of myself and that's because I feel better that way.
Yes.
And obviously I want you to be attracted to me, but I also genuinely feel better
Yes.
when I know I'm taking care of myself in some way, whatever that might mean. And that might be different for everyone. But then there's also this sort of like, you hear people commenting and complaining about their spouses when they're not taking care of themselves in those ways
Yeah.
that they used to when they were dating.
Yeah, it's the standard you set for each other. Like,
Yes.
and we both have streak of vanity to us, and that's fine. That's part of what we identified and we probably like about each other. That's okay.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean you have to be perfect or you're you know, whatever it might be. You have to have a standard. But if it's a standard that you set for each other and for yourself, more importantly, because it is about respecting your partner. It's also about respecting yourself and being the person that you want to be and feeling good, looking good, all those kind of things. But just that saying, love me for who I am, or this is who I am and I don't need to change, that principle,
no matter what I smell like or look like or
completely
anything.
Fucked. It's completely fucked, because that's one of the things about life is if you're not constantly growing, evolving, changing, and learning from life's experiences and learning from your partner, and it's an evolution thing. So like, to me, that's like a fate worse than death, to be like, this is who I am. I'm not changing. Love me or leave me. This is as good as it's going to be. You know, if you don't love me, I'm my best. That's true. Like, you have to love the person when they're at their worst a degree. But if you're not growing as a human and understanding your flaws and understanding where you could be a better person, how you're leaving so much out of life, let alone your relationship and your parents. Like you're parenting a kid and you can't. Yeah.
Well, and okay, what kind of got me thinking about this is there's like the stories when people break up or they get divorced and then they suddenly get in shape or they start taking care of their bodies. It's like, that's just an interesting human. I get it. You're putting yourself out there back in the market. Probably you want to present yourself. But at the same time, how did that get so lost when you were in your relationship that you weren't taking care of yourself at all anymore? And that's men and women. That's just across the board. You see and hear those stories, and it's just an interesting, like, human nature.
The divorced dad who's just got a new gym membership, and like that's like a very common like cliche.
Super common,
And the mom's the same. It's not
it's
just
both.
men. It's both sides. But it's weird to think that you would just stop trying to be attracted to the person that you're.
Anyway.
Anybody's got their thing.
It's just an interesting one.
Yeah.
So, okay, what was there? Maybe one more thing we could bring up in this vein.
I think that we would just one of the things I think is, and we've touched on it a little bit, but it's just if we were going to communicate like a piece of advice. Like, what do you say? Our relationship isn't perfect, but it's very good. And we're very happy, and that's not that we say just to like for the cameras. It's legitimate. I feel it in my core, and I feel very fortunate and very lucky to have this out of life. Success, failure aside. But one of the things is that we're able to have fun together. We're able to have fun. We're able to enjoy each other, like just with the little things, little things of the day, the little moments. But we work together and we have fun together. We're there together like 98% of the time. So how do you do that? You gotta have fun.
When you if you're starting a relationship, like, you should be having fun together.
Yes.
So find ways to have fun together, and we're always working on that as well. But we were most recently on a trip alone for 5 days to Mexico. And I remember being like, it's amazing that we still like hanging out together, because as our kids are getting older, we're going to have all this time together. I cannot imagine being married right now and the kids are getting older and then us looking at each other being like, this is not fun, or we don't want to be here. So it's worth all the work and the effort, and it's certainly not been just, easy peasy over here. We have had our serious challenges, but we've like that fun aspect. We've always been able to go back to it.
Yes, and then the last piece to that, and you just hinted at it, is that there is work. And that's okay.
Yes.
You should want to work on the things that you love and that you care about.
Yes.
You want to work on being a better parent. You want to work on being a better partner. You want to work on yourself. That's okay. There's a misconception out there that working on your relationship means it's not good. That is horseshit. You have to work on it. You have to put the time in. That's the intention. That's the fun. If it's not fun, why would you work on it? Right? You work on your golf game. You work on all these other things. Why would you not work on your relationship as well? And that's working on it leads to more fun, leads to more conversations. Being able to just sit and talk about big things and little things, like have a conversation. Those are all intention. You're having fun, but you're working at it, and that's okay.
That's right. Yeah.
All right, that's probably enough for that topic. I'm sure there'll be a few questionable comments on that one. I'm sure people will have to, you guys are so full of shit. We'll see.
It's a fun one.
Yeah, it's fun. All right, well, see you next time.
See you next time.
Thanks.
Built this empire from the ground, never backing down, never bound. 2 hearts, one vision, we stay true in the thick of it.